Chapter 3. The man said, subscribe to C2 Wrestling and turn on notifications now.
Please. What is up? C2 Wrestling back again, not only for Friday Night SmackDown tonight, but tomorrow, Backlash. We will be live before CTD goes away for a little bit. So you got to come hang out with the boys. We're not going anywhere, but you got to come hang out tomorrow at Backlash. As for SmackDown tonight, a couple things to get into. I believe it was one of the first things that really happened on the show, and I feel like it's going to be one of the topics that most people are going to be talking about, and that is the long-awaited return of Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They bring her back for the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like, we talked about it going into Mania, like the Chamber, we're like, all right, she's gonna have a Mania match. And
Mm-hmm.
then she didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the plan was never for her to have a Mania match. They probably maybe they already kind of knew back then that like the mid card titles weren't going to kind of make it on. So why force her into something that's not going to maybe get that slot because people want the match. They say wanted her versus Chelsea or whatever it may have been at Mania, but if it wasn't going to be at Mania and it was going to be on the SmackDown prior, there's always something to complain about. People would have came at that instead. I think it's fine that they're bringing her back in. I mean, I think it's great. I like Alexa a lot, but I want that U.S. title on Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've both been kind of in agreement that Chelsea's probably gonna win Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah, I think that's the route. Unless they are doing the quick, like the Jey Uso hot potato that belt back to Chelsea, and then maybe she loses it at SummerSlam to somebody, Alexa, who knows who. But Money in the Bank makes sense. I can't really pick another woman out of all the women that would win it. So she maybe makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like some that you could have win it, um, if we really thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, that's still a few weeks away. Things change pretty quick.
Yeah.
The biggest, I don't want to say the most interesting, but the maybe most eyebrow raising moment is Charlotte Flair comes back. And funny enough, I wasn't on Twitter. I'm sure she was getting shit on.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought the promo was actually like decent. Like not like, it wasn't hard
Mm-hmm.
times, but
Yeah, yeah,
it was like a very acceptable segment. Her getting pissed, her
yeah.
leaving. I thought was totally fine. Like one of those where I'm sure people probably bitched about it, and it was like it was okay. Like not one that like there's no reason to go crazy about it. But then we get her going to get into her car, and the door slams shut, and it's Alexa Bliss, and it's something where it's who knows where they're going with it. As we always do, I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see how it plays out. But on paper, huh?
Yeah, it does nothing for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's the same as the Charlotte promo tonight. I'm not gonna shit on it, like I'm sure a lot of Twitter was, but it didn't captivate me. Like it's not drawing me in at all, to be honest with you. Her and Alexa, it's so random to me. And that's that crop of talent, the Charlottes, Baileys, Alexa, Becky. They've already mixed it up so much amongst one another that even in terms of like a team or a faction, I don't need it at all. I don't need Alexa with like the Wyatts either, to be honest. I like Alexa can be doing her own thing, in my opinion. Charlotte is just not clicking for me on all fronts as of late. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not buying in on it because Charlotte I've been buying in on, but something about it, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, look, well, this could literally lead to just them feuding. Like
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
it could lead to anything. It could lead to the Wyatt Six return because
Mm-hmm.
why is Alexa associating with someone like Charlotte? Who knows? It could. That is like the most like the book isn't even open on whatever this story is, so we'll find out. But it definitely was one of those where I did not expect this pairing to be in any story together, whether they're
Mm-hmm.
facing or whether they're teaming or whether they're aligned or rival. Like it, I just wasn't expecting it, but who knows? We'll see how it plays out. Interesting timing though, with obviously Saturday night's main event. You don't expect anything there, but one would assume that both these women would be in Money in the Bank qualifiers, separately.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the women's Money in the Bank is kind of up in the air. I guess again, if you really think about it, there could be a few, but I don't know, man. The women are maybe even in the harder spot this year than the men's Money in the Bank is. There's maybe a couple more answers for the men, even if not answers, just options that make more sense at the moment they're at. I don't know. Charlotte Alexa doesn't do much for me, even in a match. Like that's the kind of like again, you never say never. I guess they can make some angle that maybe works, but them as a team, them facing each other, I'm just not asking for it. I don't know. That's not anything that's really pulling me in.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. And obviously, we mainly care about Chelsea and poor Zelina. Like, I feel like she's, I like Zelina. I don't dislike her, but you're bringing back Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
The fans are going crazy for Chelsea. It's like poor Zelina. It's like
Yeah,
she's probably sitting there like, guys, I'm the fucking champion. Like, I'm the
yeah.
United States champion. Like, just goes to show how they've kind of treated the mid card titles.
It's kind of like the Nakamura run for the women. Nothing against Zelina. I think Zelina's fine, but it just didn't need to happen. Chelsea should have never lost it to begin with. I also don't really see the problem in her holding the briefcase and the championship. Those are things that maybe haven't really been done too often. Who's the last person to hold the title and the briefcase? Rob Van Dam. I don't know. It's been a minute since somebody's done that. Chelsea
Miz,
could. Miz. Okay. Yeah. Miz.
Miz
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah. Miz did it. Yeah.
There's
There might
someone
be another
else.
one or two. Yeah. There might be, but you get my point. It's just something a little bit different.
Priest.
Oh yeah, wow, that's
Yeah.
a good point too. Yeah, that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
But they've never done it for the women at least, right? Chelsea just didn't need to lose it. I don't think Zelina was over enough to really win it at this point in time too. I don't know. It just felt like a really weird, maybe not weird, but it felt like a we have something else planned type title change.
Yeah, we'll kind of bounce around from SmackDown because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, it was the go home show for Backlash, but it wasn't a like breaking news besides Alexa coming back.
Yeah.
That was the real surprise. I want to talk about this Los Garza story. Andrade teams with Ray Phoenix. We'll get into the rest of the tag team division in a second. But Los Garza, they've been teasing this split from Santos Escobar, and the
Mm-hmm.
tensions keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Do you think you know how this finishes at? Like this plays out? I have a weird feeling,
Let's
and
hear it.
maybe this is just like pure spitball. I don't know. I have a weird feeling the tension maybe goes for another week or two. The Los Garza kind of get fed up with Santos, and Jeff Cobb debuts and just beats the shit out of Los Garza and aligns with Santos Escobar.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. I do think we're nearing the Jeff Cobb debut, which is going to be main roster bound. It really seems. Is that what they do with him? Maybe. I'm not really sure. I think Jeff Cobb's great, and I've wanted him in WWE for a while as well. So I'm glad it's coming. But I don't know. I don't know if that's where I want him the most. I think it would be fine. I think Santos is great. I think he's underrated. Those Garzas can be a great tag team. There's a lot of guys, Andrade, Phoenix. If they're all in the mix, we're just adding Jeff Cobb. I'm not complaining. But I don't know. I don't know if that's where it suits him the best. We'll see.
I just feel this split, however it's coming. You think numbers wise, like Andrade is going to get not Andrade. Santos is going to get someone, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed at first it was going to be maybe they do split and they go with Andrade and Santos maybe turns face, whatever. They spent so many weeks of doing just backstage segments with it. Now that we're getting kind of matches for this, it opens up some more avenues. We're getting news that potentially they're setting up for Phoenix and Penta to be
Mm-hmm.
reunited and start a tag run, which I'm sure they'll probably immediately win the tag titles and hold them
Yeah,
for 200 something days, which
it should.
fine by me. Love
Yeah.
the sound of that. So, do those kind of line up? Is it, the shakeup nearing? I don't know, but it's quite interesting because I don't think the story can really go for, I don't want to say much longer, but they did plenty of weeks and the tensions are pretty much high that it's got to be in the next week or two that either
Yeah.
this split happens or they become closer than ever or whatever the climax of the story is.
I think it's very well next week. I think first SmackDown after Backlash seems like a more prominent episode, kind of building towards Money in the Bank. Maybe that's something I want to do. Jeff Cobb's going to be great, man. I mean, I'm not opposed to it at all by any means again, but what he's just going to turn on Santos down the line. I don't know. Like Santos has already hopped around like different groups of Legato. He's great. He's just kind of a tool in like the bigger picture of things, which is fine. But I don't know. Something about it. I kind of want Jeff Cobb on Raw. I feel like he would be like the counteract to Fatu. I feel like you put him on Raw. Maybe there's some talent there to get mixed up in. I don't know where else the story can really go, though. Honestly, like Santos splitting from them, from Los Garza and Los Garza just being their own tag team. Sure, I think that's fine. Can add to whatever brand's division, but I don't know if that was the point, just to split them up. They would have done it by now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's my thought. Like if that was the payoff, like we would have gotten that payoff
yeah, weeks
already.
ago. Yeah,
That they're really,
they're
they're
building towards something.
something's being built up. But hey, I mean, we got a great tag match tonight. Another
Yeah.
great tag match. Fraxium beat the Street Profits, the
Mm-hmm.
banged up Street Profits. That's notable, but maybe not as notable as later in the show. They're greeted by the Motor City Machine Guns, get congratulated, and DIY attack both Fraxium and the Machine Guns. It's funny because I've mentioned like we need a bit of a shakeup. These teams have kind of all faced whatnot. But if you tell me the Machine Guns are going to face DIY again, or they're going to face Fraxium, or it's going to be a four-way with the Profits and those
Mm-hmm.
three teams, like I'm in. Like I'm
Yeah,
still
I
loving
mean,
it. Like I'm fine with it.
take my money. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, the TLC was fantastic. Are you telling me we just might get more of that? Like, okay, they can continue to mix it up. At a point, I understand switching things up, adding new teams. We're in again the beginning of like the WWE fiscal year, so there's going to be switch ups, teams added, people get called up, teams get formed. Carmelo and Miz maybe find themselves in the mix at some point. Who knows? You just said Jeff Cobb. Maybe there is like a split of tag teams somewhere. Los Garzas fell out of the mix. Maybe they fall back in. There's still a lot of fresh matchups that can go down, but Fraxium, man, they're so fucking good. They're so good.
They're so good. And like, look, the Raw tag division, like they have teams. I mean, most of them aren't even on fucking TV. Like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate popped up for a week, and I don't think we've seen them since.
Yeah.
It's just like such a glaring difference where it's not a talent issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why can't we get this same stuff with the plethora of tag teams that are on Raw? Like, it just, it's crazy how SmackDown is using the same teams, but still feels more fresh than Raw. That's using the same teams, but nowhere near as long as SmackDown's used the same teams.
Yeah, I think the Raw side of things, the belts were tied up for a bit longer too, in like maybe a stale period where nothing against Judgment Day, but they held them for a minute. Judgment Day held them for a while, and then you fall it on, now we're on the War Raiders to the New Day, and there's not really like any crazy feuds going on over there. SmackDown's been very involved in the tag titles. Great talent all the ways around, but both divisions will benefit from an eventual draft.
For sure. And as you mentioned, like the creation and splits of tag teams will further that. The show closed with John Cena cutting a great promo on Randy Orton. It's weird, like Cena cuts these promos, and like I'll find myself halfway through being like, damn, it's just so weird that Cena's a heel. Like he'll sometimes say something, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And then the promo keeps going, and I'm like, fuck, this is a good promo, and this shit rules.
John Cena, man, he's obviously the GOAT. He's great. I'm not super sold on it still, man. Like the promo is good. It was a good promo, but it comes off almost as like John Cena playing a parody of what would be heel John Cena to me. I don't know. It's something about it I'm not super bought into. I think the match at Backlash, again, We're going to be live, so come hang out. I think it's going to be good. I do. I think this has potential to be the best John Cena match in this entirety of his retirement tour. The build is arguably even better than Cody Cena, to be honest, as well. But
Not arguably.
it is.
This
Yeah,
is
it is.
like
It
the
is better.
promos
Yeah.
were awesome,
Yeah.
but it made no fucking sense.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I'm just still not super bought into him as the heel, but it's getting better as we go on. So I'm looking forward to what's to come.
I'm excited. Is there anything missing from SmackDown?
Uh, Alistair Black is the fucking goat. So is
Yes.
Carmelo.
Yes.
Put championships on both of them, please.
And the
I think
US
that's
title.
all.
The
And the
US
U.S.
title.
title. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nothing
Which
really to touch on there.
well the big part, I mean, just
Mm,
a fucking fantastic backstage promo from Jacob
yes.
Fatu.
Yeah. He's been great
And
on the mic.
yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah, I
incredible.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
so bad at that, probably.
Uh he made it very interesting with that promo with Solo, where I was quite confident Fatu's retaining.
Mhm.
And it's kind of nice right now. I don't want it to happen right away, but from that promo, they've kind of set themselves up where it's like Solo can either turn on him, accidentally screw him on purpose, or whatnot. It could happen at any time. So right now, like, do I think it happens right away? No, because it feels like we could go into multiple matches with Fatu as champion where it's like, is this going to be the one? And then he retains. And it's like, oh, is
Mhm.
this going to be the one? Until it finally happens. And it like, I feel like they have the chance to kind of keep us on the edge of our seat,
They do.
where most of the times in these types of stories, it normally kind of feels a bit formulaic, a bit obvious. Think of Finn Priest. Like it was
Mhm.
pretty obvious when Finn was officially going to turn on Priest. I think
Yeah.
they got the chance here to really have us where, man, we don't know when it's going to happen. So I'll be a little upset if it happens just right away.
I will be upset if it happens right away. My biggest fear is it's going to happen at Backlash, and they're both going to be in the Money in the Bank, Solo and Fatu.
Oh, I
Fatu
hate
loses
that.
the U.S. title,
I
and both of
hate
them
that.
are in the Money in the Bank. I hope it doesn't happen, but we'll find out tomorrow. Backlash, baby. C2 Wrestling, got to hang out with us again. Last live show for a little bit.
Who
But
knows?
who knows? Exactly. Got to stay tuned to find out. C2 Wrestling. Till next time.